Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yashala. Koholoyimla. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakahakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth, and just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwath that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. This is Yah Hanan Dawah. I'm just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit, and wanted to touch on something that just hit me in the spirit with Abraham, because you have these Christians that's, they say, well, if you come from Abraham, they all have a passage way to salvation and all this other stuff. But what a lot of Christians don't know is all nations didn't come from Abraham. So what about those nations? And then when you bring that up, they're looking at you like, because they don't really know that. They just, they see a couple of scriptures mentioning Abraham and they don't understand the real context of it. And then they just run with the Lord wants the whole world to be saved. And that's just not scriptural, man. We have to break down those stumbling blocks. So what I did was, I was in here and, I just asked, of course, AI, did all nations descend from Abraham? And then I asked what nations were pretty much on the planet before Abraham, so to speak. And it gave two different answers, because if you just ask AI or if you ask Google, did all nations come from Abraham, it's just going to give you this Christianity mindset that yes, everybody came from Abraham, and that's just not true. So let's give it a try. See, now it says yes according to the Bible. They have Genesis 7 and 15 right here. Salakia, Genesis 17 and 5. It says God changes Abraham's name from Abram to Abraham, explaining that he will be the father of many nations. Okay, it says many nations. It don't say all nations. Because you have to realize that before Abraham was born, there were nations here. So what about those nations that weren't born from Abraham? So when you get to asking these Christians certain questions, they're going to nosedive. They're going to squirm, wiggle, and pretty much make up their own shit like they normally usually do, right? Okay, it goes on to say, biblical account, God calls Abraham to leave his home in Ur, Mesopotamia, and travel to Canaan, where he will establish a new nation. God promises that Abraham's descendants will inherit the land and become a great nation. Jewish framework, Abraham is considered the father of the people of Israel. Okay, so of course we know that, but Abraham also had other sons. We know that, or a lot of Christians don't know that. So let me correct that. Let's see how many sons did he have. Let's see here. Yeah, let me just. Here you go, right here, right? According to the book of Genesis, Abraham had 8 sons, right? So now we know that he had 8 sons. All of them didn't come from his wife, though, right? He had, some concubines. He had some little side pieces, basically. But the promise went to Isaac, and that's clear in the scriptures. So let's ask AI about that.
According to CDPCKL, Isaac truly is the new Abraham. The covenant has been preserved for another generation. The garden is growing, expanding, and so is the promise that through Isaac's offspring all nations on earth will be blessed.
Okay, so see, that's what they have for that. But that blessing goes to Isaac. Why not the other sons? Matter of fact, Ishmael is actually older than Isaac, which, by law, so to speak. But see, he came from a slave woman, which is Hagar. So why wasn't the blessing given to Ishmael, which was the oldest son, like how inheritances normally go? So let's ask AI that. See, it says in the Bible, Isaac became Abraham's sole heir instead of Ishmael because Sarah, Abraham's wife, wanted to prevent Ishmael from sharing Isaac's inheritance. Okay, so let's see what else it says, because they're trying to make it seem like it was just Sarah's fault. It says Sarah was concerned that Ishmael's mother Hagar was Egyptian and not one of us, and she wasn't. It had nothing to do with her. Ishmael's behavior at a feast to celebrate Isaac's birth. Ishmael mocked Isaac, which angered Sarah. I thought it was Hagar that mocked her. It says God's promise. God promised that Abraham's descendants would inherit the land and become a nation through Isaac. However, God also promised that Ishmael's descendants would raise up a great nation of their own. Okay, so we know that, of course. They were blessed, but they wasn't blessed with the promise. Because what did Abraham do? He sent them on their way. You get the account of Sarah telling him, hey, look, get rid of the bondwoman. She's not going to share, her and her son. Her son is not going to share in the inheritance with Isaac when you go into the story. And Isaac, sent them away. Like how she asked. The Lord actually told Isaac, yeah, do what Sarah says, man. Send him away, because this promise is going to go to Isaac. And then from Isaac, it goes to Jacob. But again, like I said again, now, when you ask AI, did all nations, descend from Abraham? They give you this, matter of fact, let's do it again. See, now here you go. Abraham, now I kind of asked it differently this time. According to the Bible, Abraham is the ancestor of many nations, including the Israelites, the Ishmaelites, the Edomites, the Amalekites, the Kenizzites, Midianites, and the Assyrians. So all those nations, those came from Isaac, but they weren't a part of the promise. And you don't ever hear about any of these other sons. It's just that when Christians, they get into their mode of trying to make it seem as if everybody can be saved, they use Abraham's name. But the scripture clearly says that, that this blessing was going to Isaac, and then from Isaac to Jacob. It didn't have anything to do with these other nations, man. Right? So I'm just trying to prove here that when Christians give you this song and dance about all nations coming from Abraham and that they're going to be saved, that's just not true. And normally they will have these scriptures in here, but let's go to the New Testament. Let's go to Romans chapter 9. Let's start from the very top here, verse 1. I say the truth in Yahweh Shai, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness with the Holy Spirit that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were cursed from Yahweh Shai Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. Now, who is Paul talking about here, according to the flesh? He's talking about his blood people, man. Verse 4, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of God, and the promises. You won't find nowhere in the scriptures where the Lord gave that to any other nation. Those things that were just named off were given to the Israelites and to the Israelites only. So now it goes on to say, and this is where, Christians, they get it confused. Let's read on. Verse 5. Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Yahweh Shai Mashiach came, who is over all, God bless forever. Amen. Not as though the word of God had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. Now let's read that in the NLT, verse 6 in the NLT, Romans 9 and 6. Well then, has God failed to fulfill his promise to Israel? No, for not all who are born into the nation of Israel are truly members of Yahweh's people, because you got some damn reprobates. You got some they're Israelites, but are they a part of the elect? No, they're not. So if all the Israelites are not a part of the elect, what makes you think that the Lord is going to be dealing with these heathen nations? That all of a sudden they can be saved. All of a sudden, the Lord has forgotten about the promise that he made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, as if the Lord's a liar. And he's all of a sudden giving it to these heathen. See, you have to read the scriptures with proper context, man. Verse 7, it says, neither because, see, this is the point right here. This is where they go off at. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. See? But in Isaac shall thy seed be called. They don't go back and think like, well, Abraham had 8 sons, but why did the Lord only choose Isaac? Or they don't go back even further than Abraham. We're like, okay, well, there was people before Abraham. How could he be the father of all nations? No, it says that he was the father of many nations, not all nations. There were nations on the planet before Abraham. Like, take, for instance, Lot. Lot, which was Abraham's nephew. Lot was with Abraham the whole way, pretty much, until, they gathered all the riches. They both had a lot of cattle. And, if you go through the story, their herdsmen were fighting, because of, they had so much cattle between them, and they was trying to feed and graze, let them graze on the land. And, they needed water for all these animals. And then, Abraham pretty much told Lot, hey, look, we're people, man. We're family. Hey, choose any part of the land that you want. Whatever part you choose, you go that way and I'll go the opposite. And that's when Lot chose Sodom and Gomorrah, or that area of Sodom and Gomorrah, because it says that it was rich in, grazing land, roughly paraphrasing. It was, they had plenty of water, things of that nature. But the point that I want to make is, okay, Abraham, Lot was Abraham's nephew, but Lot went on to have his own children, which he had 2 daughters, right? So Lot didn't come from Abraham. See? Lot was Abraham's nephew. Now, and to go even further, when Sodom and Gomorrah went down, and if you're familiar with the story, Lot's 2 daughters slept with him. And out of the 2 daughters sleeping with their father, which was incest, came the Moabites and the Ammonites. So what about the Moabites and Ammonites? They don't come from Abraham. So what I'm trying to point out is, when Christians use that sense of everybody come out of Abraham and they are the children of God. No, man, that's not true, man. You have to go into the specifics of it with these Christians, man. And they'll swallow themselves on up, man, because they don't be knowing the scriptures like that. And that's why it's important to read and to also pray, you know what I'm saying, for understanding. Because, hey, this is not something that I'm thinking. This is just something that was brought up in my spirit. Like, well, what about, Moab and Ammon? Those children that came from Abraham's nephew, Lot. Lot didn't even come from Abraham. Those children that his daughters had with him, they didn't come from Abraham. So what about those nations? So you have to ask Christians, what about them? And they'll lose it, man, because they only focus on a few scriptures that they don't really understand. They don't understand the couple of scriptures that they pull. I always say it. It's 3 words that's in the Bible that Christians lose it when they hear them. When they hear the word world, they figure it's the whole planet. And it's not that. A lot of the times when it talks about the word world, it's just going off into an age or a society. Because we're living in the age of Esau right now. This is his world. He's running shit. Then they might see the word all, A-L-L, and they lose their mind. Oh, well, it said all people. They're not looking at the context of what the scripture is saying. It's not talking. Who you think Yahushua was speaking to everybody when on everything that he said? He was only speaking to the men that were around him when he said all or whomsoever. Or these days they would say whosoever. That's another word, they just lose it. Well, whosoever shall believe. Okay, well, who was he talking to when he said that? And then they just lose their mind. And because, see, actually, they don't think spiritually. They can't fathom in their mind that the Lord created all nations and only chose one. That's what their real problem is. It's almost like they look at it as if, say like, for instance, you got a elementary school. And you got this smorgasbord of a kingdom of Esau. And you got Chinese people living there, Japanese people, South Koreans, North Koreans, black people, Filipinos, whatever the case may be. All these different people. And they're sending all their kids to the elementary school. They're expecting that because my children are here, they should all be treated equally. Okay, that may be the case in Esau's kingdom when it comes to something like that. But that's not the case when it comes to the Lord. The Lord chose a nation of people. He only gave the old covenant to the children of Israel. He only gave the new covenant to the children of Israel. Salvation is of the Jews. It's only for the children of Israel. The Lord even said that. He said that he was not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But because these people can't fathom, well, why? Why would he create all these nations and only choose one? Well, because he can. You know, people get up, man, and choose what they're going to eat for breakfast. They choose an outfit they're going to wear. Hell, some people even have the option of choosing which car they're going to drive. Shit, I'm going to take the Benz today. I'm going to take the Beamer today. Or I'm going to take the, fuck it, I'm going to jump in the Wagoneer. Or I'm going to jump into the, you know, the Benz truck. People got choices. They got all these damn choices that they can make. But when it comes to the Lord, which, you know, they just like, well, no, the Lord can't have any choices. He made us all. Yeah, he did. But now there's also scriptures that talks about how the Lord, he has a favorite, I'm trying to think where it's actually worded. Salakia, bear with me real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Because the Lord, he has favorites, man. He chose the children of Israel out of all the nations, man. That was his favorite nation that he wanted to choose. There's nothing you can do about it. You didn't create shit, you know? Okay, here we go right here. 2nd Ezra chapter 5. Let me start at verse 23. And said, O Lord, that bearest rule over every wood of the earth and all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one only vine. So the Lord chose a vine, man, right? Which generally is going into the grapes. And of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof one lily. So the Lord, hey, he chose the lily as his favorite flower. Out of all the flowers, can the roses be mad? See? Can the sunflowers be mad? You know, can all these different flowers say, well, why did you choose me? He chose, he can choose just like you can choose. Right? It says, and of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river. And of all builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself. So out of all the cities, can, you know, can all the other cities get mad because he chose Zion? Come on, bro. The Lord can choose as well. And he chose a nation, which are the children of Israel. It says, and of all the fowls that are created, thou have named thee one dove. So the Lord loves the dove, man. Can the blue jay get mad? Can the cardinal get mad? Can the crow get mad? You know, can any of these other birds get mad? And of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. Right? So the Lord loves the sheep, man. See? Can any of the animals get mad? So what I want to say or prove here is that the Lord can choose. And he chose the children of Israel. The children of Israel are his portion, man. Verse 27. And among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people. And unto this people whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. See that? So the Lord chose a nation. Who is that nation? The children of Israel. Verse 28. And now, O Lord, why hast thou given this one people over unto many? So the children of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, were given over to you damn heathen. And you've been ruling over us for the past 500 years here. Now, all of a sudden, the Lord, he's like, all right, well, your punishment is up. I'm going to bring you back to me. All you damn nations want to get a part in that. You all want to get, you fucked us up. But now, all of a sudden, after fucking us up, you want a part of what the Lord has blessed us with. It don't work that way, man. Verse 28 again. And now, O Lord, why hast thou given this one people over unto many, and upon the one root hast thou prepared others? And why hast thou scattered thy only one people among many? See? And they which did gainsay thy promises and believe not thy covenants have trodden them down. You damn heathen don't believe in the Lord. That's why that Psalms 50 and what's that, 16? Let's get that real quick. See, this is not for you nations, man. When you go in precept upon precept, you'll see that this is not for you. You don't respect the Lord's word, man. Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? See, what did it just say about the covenants? Y'all don't believe in the covenants? Y'all don't believe in the real words of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai? Here you go, you got a heathenist ass nation. Y'all out here running shit. Okay, yeah, let's get verse 17. It says, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. See, Esau hated instruction. He cast the words of the Lord behind him. Now, what did he do? He got his hands on the Bible. He whitewashed all the images. That's in the scriptures as well. See? So now, all these prophetic things are starting to come to pass, and people are starting to see it. And now you got this big ass fuss. It almost goes off into like when what was that Esdras? Or was it Nehemiah? I think it was Esdras. When the children of Israel were starting to build the temple back up, and you had these damn heathen that were talking about, you know, they wanted to build with us. And the prophets, our forefathers, told them, no, you're not building nothing with us, man. This has nothing to do with you, roughly paraphrasing. Basically, so you have these other nations now, they want to get in on it. Oh, we want to help you. We're all one people. We all love you. But y'all the motherfuckers that's been fucking us up for the past half millennial. So this truth is not for everyone, man. That's the point that I wanted to really make out. Because, again, these people, they'll see something like Abraham's seed. They'll see that word, Abraham's seed, right? And they lose their damn mind. But all nations, all you see to cut these Christians with that is to ask them, well, did all nations really come from Abraham? And tell them to Google it. Tell them to ask Siri or some shit. Tell them to ask Alexa. You see? And AI going to give them the business and let them know, hey, no, all nations did not. Matter of fact, if you go before Abraham, it goes, they're going to tell you about the Tower of Babel and Nimrod. So did Abraham create all those people? I mean, did all those people come from the loins of Abraham? Of course not. So this is something that we can use to actually cut these Christians that be talking that shit about how the Lord loves everybody all of a sudden. Let's get this right here. 2nd Esdras 6 and 54. More proof, man. And it's so many scriptures, man. It's too many scriptures that goes off into this is for the children of Israel and the children of Israel only, man. 2nd Esdras 6 and 54. It says, after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. See that? There's a distinction there. See? It says all people came from Adam, but there is a people that's actually chosen, right? Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. And as for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So the Lord is saying these other nations are nothing. And now, O Lord, and pretty much this is going off in what it just said in chapter 5 we was just in. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long would this endure? So this is something that Esdras is asking. If we're also goddamn equal, why is it that the so-called white man was running everything? See? Why is he over the children of Israel? Why is he over us? You know what I'm saying? Why is he, directing our every goddamn step every day? Why do we have to go by his laws? Why do we have to, go by his school curriculum and shit? Why do we need a passport from him to travel? Why do we need his driver's license to travel? Why do we need these things? How is it that this man can come and kick in our door and take our children away from us if he feels as if we're not raising them the way that he wants us to raise them? If we're so in control, if we're so goddamn equal with everybody. These other nations, they had their lot. They had their lands. They had their places. We're the only ones that's subject to listening to another nation of people. That's come on, bro. You can't get around that. And also, let's get this. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. To these Christians that believe that we're all together and the Lord can't choose who he wants to choose. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Yahweh thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. This is not changed. If the Lord loved everybody, he would have sent Moses and Aaron right up into Egypt and told Pharaoh, hey, look, the Lord wanted all us to get together. Why did he send all those plagues upon Pharaoh? Why did he kill the firstborn of Pharaoh and the firstborn of the Egyptians? Why did he do that? See? I don't know what the hell going on here, Salakia. Let me see, is that let's get Deuteronomy 14 and 2. There's plenty of scriptures, man. And you got these, oh, well, that was the Old Testament. Nothing has changed, man. The new covenant and the old covenant is for the children of Israel. Deuteronomy 14 and 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. You cannot get around that, bro. A peculiar people. That's a special people to the Lord, man. Let's see here. Something else I wanted to get. It's just a chapter, though. Yeah, this is it right here. It's not what I want though. Right off. Yep. Bear with me real quick. Let's go into the blue letter real quick. I think how this bad boy is worded. Let's put it in like this. I was in the right chapter. It was Deuteronomy 32 and 8, Salakia. It says, when the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. See? The children of Israel are the inheritance, man. This is who he chose. You can't get around it, man. You can't make him, Verse 9, it says, for the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. See? You cannot get around that, man. There's too many scriptures on that, man. But like I said again, let me see. Let's go back to Romans. And I don't know how to get all this mixed up. They just don't read. They don't want to get it. Because you can't get around this. Romans chapter 9 again. Let's start back at verse 6. Not as though the word of God have taken none effect. For they are not all Israel which are of Israel, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. But in Isaac shall thy seed be called. You can't get around that, bro. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God. How can you get around that? But the children of the promise are accounted for the seed. So the children of the flesh is going off into these other nations, man. Hagar. Because again, Ishmael, he was the oldest son. Why didn't he get the inheritance? Because he was a child of the flesh, man. Verse 9. For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. See? And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of Yahweh according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. So this goes by what the Lord chose. He chose Israel. He didn't choose Esau. It goes on to say, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. Now, is that fair? The Lord can do what he wants, man. It says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid, which means no. The Lord, he can choose what he wants to choose. He created all things. So who are you to say that, oh, well, he just chose one people, how dare him? No, you can't say shit. You're going to fall in line because you don't have no choice. Verse 15, it says, for he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of Yahweh that showeth mercy. In the NLT, that verse says, so it is God who decides to show mercy. We can neither choose it nor work for it. For the scriptures say that God told Pharaoh, I have appointed you for the very purpose of displaying my power in you and to spread my fame throughout the earth. That's the only reason why he chose Pharaoh. For no other reason. Verse 18, so you see, God chooses to show mercy to some, and he chooses to harden the hearts of others, so they refuse to listen. Can't get around that, man. Can't get around that. And these Christians, they hate Romans chapter 9. Because it cuts all that bullshit that they be talking about. And you really have to go up into the scriptures, man, and really read into it the proper way. But they see words like world, all, and what was the other one? Whosoever or whomsoever. And they lose their mind, man. They just really think that the Lord can't choose someone. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. So, again, it kind of all started from me, asking the AI, did Abraham, was he the father of all nations? And you can clearly see right here, according to the Bible, Abraham is the ancestor of many nations. It doesn't say all nations, including the Israelites. He's the father of the Ishmaelites. He's the father of the Edomites and the Amalekites. And the Amalekites, those are descendants of the Edomites as well. So I don't even know why they even have them really separated like that. The Kenizzites, the Midianites, and the Assyrians. See? It says, here's some more information about Abraham. Abraham name means father of many nations. Abraham was from Ur in Mesopotamia, which is now Iraq. See that? Abraham's son Isaac was the patriarch of the Israelites, and his son Ishmael was the patriarch of the Arabs. Journey. God called Abraham to leave his home and to travel to Canaan, which today, they call Africa pretty much in a sense there, with the Hamites basically, which he promised to his children. The descendants of Abraham at the beginning of the Israelite nation were a mix of Canaanite, Egyptian, and Western Mesopotamia elements. They looked similar to the Semitic people of the Middle East today, which there's no such thing as no damn Semitic. It's Shemitic, like modern Israelis and Arabs. So see, they throw that twist in there. They try and get all, sneaky and shit. They know full well that the children of Israel were dark melanated people, man. And they give you talking about some Semitic. Ain't no damn Semitic. It's not Sem, it's Shem. And there's no such thing as a Middle East. That's not biblical, man. That Middle East shit is a fairly new made up term. See, here you go right here. And it's crazy. Look right here. Now right here, check this out. Let me highlight this to show you how they get down. It's saying Semitic, right? Sem. But now look right here. Why does this say Shem? Right underneath it. Ancestry. Abraham was a descendant of Noah through his son Shem. So why is this saying Sem? Why do they say anti-Semitic instead of anti-Shemitic? Because these people are sneaky rat bastards, man. and they try and keep the truth. See, they don't expect people to ask questions like this. They don't expect people to Google a question like this. And then also, we can clearly see that it's a certain way that you have to word things for you to actually get the information that you're looking for. Because Esau is just that goddamn slick. Because I had to put this in a couple of times. At first, I put in, it's Abraham, the father of all nations, right? And then it gave us the information as far as he's the father of many nations. You know, they didn't give that full answer. So when I put in, well, okay, did any other nations exist before Abraham? So that was reworded. I had to reword it and ask the question within that way. And then they actually gave the information that I actually really was looking for and really wanted. Because we know that Abraham is not the father of all nations, but the average Christian don't know that. So I just wanted to just point that out, man. I didn't want to keep the lesson long. Something that hit me in the spirit, and I was meditating on it and just wanted to do something to it. So I pray that, nothing was confusing to you guys, or that it was edifying to you, and that you have some tools or some weapons. Part of your weapons is this word, this sword, to actually defend the gospel with, so to speak. So with that, I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yasha Allah and the Bible Ball.